Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about hoovers. What is a hoover? Why a narcissist hoovers? And what happens when the narcissist hoovers? What are they even doing? So, we're going to get started with that. Before we go, while people are coming into chat, let's just say hello. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Hit the thumbs up. If you need anything related to narcissist and healing from the chaos they cause in your life, head over to queenbeeing.com. Lots of information over there. If you don't know me, I am Lise Colucci, one of the life coaches over at QueenBeeing, and we're just going to jump in with the Hoover. What is a Hoover? So you hear this a lot. What is a Hoover? People say it all the time. The narcissist hoovered me back. It's basically sucking you back in, the Hoover vacuum cleaner, right? They suck you back in to their drama, to their world, to giving them attention, to giving them supply. So anytime the narcissist devalues you to the point where they go silent, this is how I see it. If they devalue you to the point where you feel you're needing to, um, like they're gonna leave, like any even more so, anytime they devalue you to the point where you're ready to leave, they will do things to hoover you back in. They'll reinstate the love bombing to hoover to suck you back in. Anytime a narcissistic friend sees you cutting things off and sees you slowly backing away, they'll suck you back in. But even more so when we talk about the hoover, we're talking about after the discard, after you've left or after they've left or after there's a separation completely from them, and they try to suck you back in, and they have different tactics for doing so, and it's something people come to expect, something people come to like so basically, not all narcissists hoover. Okay, people think that if they don't hoover, that means they weren't narcissistic. Not true. And there are subtle hoovers you may miss as well that are the hoover. You just don't realize it because it's not in a pleasant or friendly way. And also, not all, some narcissists, there are some out there that will punish you. They either get such a large narcissistic injury that they cannot let their ego show that they were hurt, and they will never, ever return. Some of them. Some of them move on quickly, and they're the jump from person to person type, and they have a large enough supply base out there that they don't turn back. And some of them just for sheer like it's stubbornness will not hoover. But for the most part, people often receive a hoover. And so basically what I'm trying to say here is if you don't get one, it's not about you. What we're going to learn through this whole thing is none of this is about you guys. It's about them. All right. What we're going to learn through this is that the Hoover isn't good. It does not mean they love you. It does not mean you're worth something. It does not mean that the other person isn't as good as they thought they were and they're turning back to you. What the Hoover is a narcissist coming back for more attention from you, more energy from you, more affection from you, to fight with you, whatever it is, to get your supply and your attention. So they can use all kinds of things to hoover. They can use love bombing. They can use sex. They can use attention, getting attention. They can anything that turns the focus onto them, anything that makes your focus go off of your life back onto their life. Because when you're with them, how you're always having to manage what they're doing, worrying about where they are, who they're talking to, what they're doing. It's like your whole life becomes about sort of managing that instead of your own life. Well, that's what they want. They want that, even though they say they don't want that and call you controlling, right? They're trying to control you through making your attention go on to them. So basically, a Hoover is a power play. It's a power play to suck you back into their world. That's all it is. It is not about love. The narcissist was never in love. They were in love with the idea of having someone give them attention. Okay. And I'm sorry if that's a painful thing to hear. And I'm sorry that that is a truth that we need to face. But their form of love is not the affectionate, kind, giving, caring, compassionate love between two people. Their love is objectified rather. It is transactional. Okay. So it's a power play when they hoover to gain supply back, to gain your attention back and keep your focus on them. Okay. They, some of them even hoover with silence. The silent treatment can be a form of a hoover because it keeps your focus wondering if they're ever going to contact you again. And that's the unfair part of it, right? Is how do you break trauma bonds when you're waiting for the Hoover? How do you break trauma bonds when there's silence? And you don't know if it's coming or not coming, you just know they haven't. So, the key to breaking trauma bonds is getting your focus on your own life and letting the discomfort of wanting to look back to them be there while you focus on your own life. And eventually it breaks, it goes away. There's, I mean, there's lots of steps to breaking trauma bonds, but that's one of them is to get your focus off of them. The whole point of keeping your focus on them is it keeps your brain in the cycle of your trauma bond. It keeps your addiction to them going, right? So that's what the Hoover is good at. The Hoover pulls you back. You can have a 5-second Hoover and it can pull you back to feeling like you're in the beginning of leaving them again. It's terrible. Okay. And it's not something, if you are wishing you had one and you didn't, understand that yes, that is painful. And also, the Hoover would make you feel worse. I've never heard of a Hoover being a good thing, personally, ever. Actually, now that I think about it, never have I heard of it being a good thing. So, well, that's not true. Let me rephrase that. I've heard of it being a good thing in that some people, when they're hoovered, realize just how ridiculous and how horrible and how awful that narcissist is, and so it helps them let go. All right, some people. But that's not without pain. That's not without it reinstating, I don't want, now I hate them, but I keep wanting to contact them, they'll say. So you see, it's not without some cost. So let's just say a Hoover always has a cost. All right. So let's talk about in the Hoover what they might do. So a Hoover could look like a text or a phone call, or they might drive by where you live or work or are. They might show up at places that they know you will be. They might show up at the gym, or they might show up at a restaurant they know you go to, or whatever. They know your schedule, right? So they might show up somewhere. They might send friends in, mutual friends, like what we call flying monkeys, to check on you, to get information for them from you, or just to make you remember them. They might force reminders out there. They might, I mean, I've watched a Hoover in play where the narcissist was bringing up having to be in the face of them to get something, and the narcissist was bringing up things like, "Oh, smell this scent. Doesn't this remind you of the time blah blah blah? Oh, look at this photo. Doesn't it blah 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 blah? Here, pet the animal. Here, do this." Everything they could to emotionally manipulate the person back to remembering who they thought that narcissist was when they thought they were a good person. Does that make sense? Hi, Sunny. So they might just show up at your house. They might, like I said, call you, come over, all the ways that any way someone can reach you, they might try it. I've even heard of them just driving by the person's job every day when they knew they were going to work, even though the narcissist worked across town, just so they'd see his car. Right? Okay. And what all of that does is that they know that out of sight, out of mind, because that's how they feel, right? That's how they operate. So they know that if there is some little hint of them, it plants a seed. And that seed will grow into a giant urge, right, to contact them. It'll grow into the missing them. It'll grow into the to reaching back to them. All right. And they know what they're doing with this. So they may say things when they do get a hold of you. There's different forms of Hoover. So remember, a Hoover is not always, "I love you, I want you back. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, blah, blah, blah." It could be. It could be, "I miss you. I love you. I can't believe we're apart. I can't believe this happened." Playing to your empathy, playing to your emotions, playing to your softer side, right? It could be, "Oh my gosh, something terrible happened to so and so," or, "I'm really sick. Come help me." Heard of one that 2 years later, "I fell off a ladder, come help me." That would be like a stranger calling you randomly on the phone because this person was completely out of this person's life, right? And you want me to do what? Did you call? If you can call me, you can call 911, right? Like, come on. "No, no, I need you to go with me, and I need you to stay with me. I don't have anyone else." Well, wow, gee, I wonder why, So, yeah, it can be things like that. It can be pity. They play on your pity. Basically, they're playing to your empathy, whether it be any emotion that falls under your own empathy, anything that pulls you. They know you. They know what works. They um, they may do other mean things like flaunt new supply in front of you, somehow plant the seed. So I hear this a lot when people are low contact going through a divorce. I hear this from clients all the time, that he or she is now talking about their new supply as if they've been in their life forever. We've only been apart 2 months. Where did this person come from, and why are they so involved, and why do I need to hear about them, right? Well, you need to hear about them so that you feel jealousy. You feel like you want to fight for that person back. Narcissists want you to give all the attention, and, they want to feel special and important and like the center of the world for a lot of people. So, yeah, they may flaunt the new supply, and or find a way to make you find out. They may tell a friend. They may post pictures on social media. They Another thing they do is they use social media to hoover you, posting memes, posting songs, posting quotes, saying things that they going places they know you wished you had gone with them, going places you used to go with them, things like that that make you, they know you're looking. Okay, and that's why no contact is so vital. No contact is important because they're not doing boring things. They're doing things to make you jealous. They're doing things to make you think about them, and they're talking about it on social media. Okay, it's not just their picture, it's their picture plus. So, cut them off from social media. They may do things like contact you and talk about how much they've changed, how they've gone to a therapy session and now they understand. They have thought about their ways. They will tell you in the Hoover. The Hoover I got was every word I wanted to hear over 7 years in 5 minutes. And the thing was, it was so simple. It was such easy things to say, it was such easy things to do. I'm not super complicated where I require a whole bunch of jumping through hoops, right? It was very basic, simple, understanding and whatever. All of it in 5 minutes that it took 7 years for this and I said, "Why are you saying this now?" And this was the brilliant part. They said, "How dare you ask that question?" Almost threw their food in the restaurant off the table and stood up, and I just asked for a bag, got my food, and left because no, right? Yeah, it was so obvious that that was just to suck me in, and I knew that the second I did, the rules would change, and they even said, "We're gonna have to change the rules." Yeah, buddy. Yeah, like, don't talk to me. So yeah, they when they say they've changed, it is, first of all, it's impossible to change in that short of amount of time without without applying the change into action in your life. You haven't changed. You've thought about words that make it sound like you've changed. Okay. And they haven't applied the action. They just are using words. Their words and their actions never match. Okay. So another thing they might do is use holidays or birthdays to hoover you. And then that's uncomfortable because you don't know if it's coming. So there's always anxiety around those days. So my suggestion there is reclaim that day. And if you get the hoover, then you do. And you learn how to recover from triggers. You learn how to stay out of a re-traumatizing situation and not buy their BS, and you block them, right? They contact you, they send you flowers, you throw them in the trash or donate them to someone else quickly. Um, Go to a neighbor's house and drop them off and throw the card away, right? Put one on each neighbor's doorstep as a happy birthday to me because you're my neighbor, right? So, right, anyway, do something to change it. Okay, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it as something that it means anything about you. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Um, so yeah, another thing they might do is if they hoover you, they may be negative. So a lot of times, this happens a lot. When I'm helping people, I hear them tell me about when they are parallel parenting and they have to deal with this low contact situation with a narcissist, and they'll get these most bizarre angry messages in whatever format they're using to message. Instead of just asking a question or stating something that's needed for the child, there'll be this long thing as if they're still in a relationship with the person, and as if the survivor is supposed to care that that narcissist has an opinion of them. And they will give this negative criticizing blah 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 blah, or a lot of some of them sweet talk in that and try to talk, oh, we're like act like your friends. And those are hoovers. Those are hoovers within a situation that should be cut and dry. So, and so we don't fall for that. So here's the thing: when you saying, "Hi, Elle, during my Hoover after the last discard, my ex repeated back so many things that I had said to him in the relationship." There is that they mirror what you have said. Uh huh. It was so word for word that I knew it wasn't what he was actually feeling. Good thinking. You're right. You caught it. That's good. So what you might feel when you're hoovered, all kinds of things, right? But you might feel drawn back to that toxic person. You might feel ashamed that you went back or that you talked to them or that you know what I mean? Like you might feel ashamed that you engaged in it. You might feel angry that that happened. You might feel like you're back at square one when after the Hoover. You might feel confused because now you don't know what to believe. Were they really toxic? Cognitive dissonance sets in, and cognitive dissonance takes over, and you get like, wait a minute, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. You might feel lonely. It might reinstate the lonely feelings or make the lonely feelings you're already having worse because they have just put in your face the thing you've always wanted them to be. Again, remember, they groom. Hoovering is basically a regrooming, right? They're trying to groom you to believe something different, something new, a new thing about them so that you come back or that you talk to them or you give them attention, whatever. It doesn't always come back. Sometimes it's just, hey, want to be my buddy? But what they're doing is they're keeping you on the back burner. If they're not hoovering you back, like to get you back, so they're keeping you on the back burner for later, or they're just using you for the parts of you that they like, the counsel that you give, the friendship that you give, the attention that you give, the doing things for them that you do, the caring about them, the thinking about them, the talking about them. It's just them. Okay. So you might feel all kinds of conflicting feelings. If you feel nothing and you just feel like, what was that? Good. Because that's where we aim to get. If you feel that, good. Take a sigh of relief and recover from any trigger it gives you and move on. If you're feeling everything else, then work on remembering, go back to your lists of this toxic person and all the things they've done. Talk it through in coaching, talk it through with the therapist, whatever you need to do. Stay away from this toxic person. This is a manipulation tactic. It's a maneuver to get you back, to get your attention, to get your focus on them. It is not love. It is not love. It is not love. Okay? You love, sure. It's attention seeking. It is manipulation. Okay. So, yeah, that's what I got on Hoovers. It's going to end it here and keep it short. But if you have any other questions about Hoovering, if this brought up any questions, please leave a comment in the main description and I will talk with you about it there. If you need any help with anything regarding narcissism in your life from a narcissistic person, hit me up. I'm in the main description of every video. You can find where to reach me, where to reach us over at QueenBeeing, where to find coaching, where to find group coaching. So got lots of support available to you guys. I think we're probably the only program out there with as much support as we have. So kind of love our program. But and I see a lot of people being helped through the many means in which we have to help. So yay. But okay, if you want notification of my going live, I'm coming on here a couple times a week, minimally, trying to get on here almost every day. With coaching, you can always ask questions about your own life, and you know, Q&As are always open on the chat. Anyway, if you want a notification, text me at 33222 and hit subscribe, and don't forget to watch the other videos on this channel for information as well. Talk to you soon. Bye.